Hi, welcome back to Not So Obvious Watches. I'm Pete McConville, and in today's video I'm going to bounce off someone else's video. Penny from All in Her Movements just did an excellent, very honest discussion about why she collects Rolex, and I think it's a really good video and a good insight into someone who really knows who they are and is really open and honest about what that means in terms of why they collect what they do. And I think that that video is a really good example, sets a really good example for all of us, and being prepared to accept who we are as people and therefore what that means in terms of what watches we collect and why. So congratulations, Penny, great video, and I'd recommend people to go check it out. But my video is actually not on that topic at all. It's what I want to do is address a question that Penny asked. She talks about how resale value is really important to her when she's buying watches, which is one of the reasons why Rolex is an obvious candidate for her. But she remarks that she gets a lot of pushback, and she sees a lot of pushback from other parts of the community about people that do value resale. And she didn't seem to understand why. Why is there that pushback? This video is looking at that question. Why is it that parts of the watch community push back at those people who say resale value is important to me? So after that unusually long introduction, let's get into the meat of the question. Why is it that I think that people sometimes push back on other collectors who discuss why resale value is so important to how they collect watches? I think that I'm not going to try and talk for everyone. I'm sure there's a whole bunch of different reasons that are driving this, but I'm going to talk about my specific perspective and talk about my belief and where I'll be honest, I kind of look askance at those people who put value at the heart of their collecting decision. For me, it all starts with what this is all about. What this whole hobby is about for us. That is, this is a hobby about luxury. And for me, luxury is pure pleasure. It is nothing but enjoyment. It should bring us as uncompromised joy as possible. Now, obviously, we don't all have unlimited funds. We can't all shoot for the moon. But I think for me, what that means is I figure out what I can afford. So I say I can spend $10,000 on a watch. And then for me, luxury is saying within my budget, I buy the very best watch I can. I buy the one that gives me the most joy. And that's it. That's the sole purpose of luxury, is to bring me joy. And the second I start thinking, oh, well, there's a watch I love, but there's a watch I kind of like a little bit cheaper, then it's no longer luxury. If there's a watch I love, but there's a watch I kind of like, but it might have better resale value, then the watch is no longer luxury. It's no longer pure joy. It's no longer about pure pleasure. It's now about work and compromise and sacrificing the thing that I'm here in this hobby to get in the name of value. I do that when I'm buying a microwave oven. I do that when I'm buying a refrigerator. I do that when I'm buying, a drill. In those cases, those are just tools. They're not luxuries. They're things I need. Therefore, value for money and value retention is important to me. But for something I love, it's not. And in fact, it's the chasing of value is toxic to my love of the hobby and the things I buy. I'll give you an example of kind of a real life example of when I have done this, felt this, the consequences, and also why I kind of look oddly at people that do chase value. I used to collect cars. I loved cars. I was restoring cars, building a rally car, doing a whole bunch of other things. And so for me, they were very important. I would call myself a car enthusiast. I had a lot of friends who were car enthusiasts. I also had a lot of friends and family who weren't, for whom cars are just tools, just ways of getting around. I had a couple of cars, none of which were great because they were all in the process of getting restored. And I needed something just to get from point A to point B. I needed something modern, something reliable, something I could trust. And I had money to spend and all that sort of stuff. And I narrowed it down to two cars. I've just called them Car Sensible and Car Love. I really liked Car Sensible. It was a great car and I really liked it. There was another car that I loved that really sang to me and was everything I wanted. But it was a little bit more expensive. It had zero resale value. And it was potentially going to be a little less reliable. So I did the sensible thing and I bought the car I really, really liked. And then over a year, I grew to hate that car. I grew to despise that car. It sat there like this toad in my driveway. Every morning I walked out and all it told me was, this is the car that got in the way of the car I loved. It got to the point where after about 2 years, that car had to go in and get a service. And so it was at the dealers. And then they rang me and said the car was ready to get picked up. And I left it there for weeks. I eventually ended up selling it to a guy at the dealer rather than ever having to see that car again. That car, being sensible and logical and good value, had sucked all the joy out of my hobby, my enthusiasm, the thing I thought I loved. And as I was going through that process and I was talking to my friends and family, the friends that were car enthusiasts were the ones telling me all along, you just did the wrong thing. Of course this is going to be the result. The true enthusiasts were all saying, don't chase resale value if you're buying a thing you love. Buy the one you love. My family, the people that weren't into cars, the people that were just kind of using them as tools, told me I was an idiot. That this whole idea that you would love your microwave, your refrigerator, your washing machine, or your car is stupid. That you should really just buy the one that's the cheapest, that's going to get you the most resale value, and that you can live with. And that separation between the true enthusiast loving something and as a result of that love being swept away and acting irrationally, as opposed to, the people who just kind of want something, but it's just got to be good enough. As long as it makes sense, that's enough. That split is in the forefront of my brain every time I hear someone talk about good value or resale value. And I know I can intellectualize now and I can say, I understand that for some enthusiasts, they can't experience joy unless they feel that they got a good deal. They can't experience joy unless they know they've got some sort of resale value in their watch. So I can intellectualize and say, I know that there's these people like this, and that's fine for them, and it's great, and it's clearly it works. But deep down, my instinctive reaction, I do find myself wondering, how much do they love this versus just really like it? And that's kind of why I think some of us, when other people talk about, I got this watch because it's got great resale value, or I got this watch because it's got really good specs and great value for money, wonder about where's that coming from? And wonder about what it is that makes up an enthusiast in that kind of world. I am not trying to convince anyone to change. If you are of that personality type that says, I need to see value to feel joy, all luck to you. Great, that's fine. There's a lot of YouTubers there to help you. So I'm not trying to convince you to see the world like I do. I'm just trying to let you know that's how I see the world. And I'm trying to let you know that if when you mention resale value or you mention specs and value for money, bang for buck, you get a bit of a side eye, that's probably where that side eye is coming from. Anyway, I've been Pete McConville. This has been Not So Obvious Watches. Please like and subscribe. That would be great. See you later. Bye.